Hello friends, so in this video I'm going to explain to you all you need to know about sigils. So let's say you've completed a match in Stygian and you've collected a couple sigils all along the way. Well, the sigils that you collect will appear in your mailbox here. If you go to your mailbox, they'll be here, so you just collect them, you claim them, and they'll be automatically opened and they'll be in your inventory. So let's go to our sigils. So let's say you've collected a whole bunch of random sigils, and I'm gonna unequip everything first so I can go back to basics. So it should appear like this. So let's say you've collected a whole bunch of sigils and you're ready to equip them. Well, it'll appear something like this. So there will be a lot of different sigils that you can collect, and all of them have their special purposes, but I'm gonna try looking at all of them here and trying to explain what these sigils are for. So there's 5 different categories of sigils: active, catalyst, carbide, oxide, and calcify. These are the 5 categories you can choose from, and you can see that here there's 5 spots open. These are for the 5 different categories. Each of these 5 categories happens to have 10 different types of sigils. There's only 10 different types of sigils for each of the 5 categories. So in total, there's 50 different sigils that you can collect. There's 50 individual types of sigils, because there's 5 categories here, and there's 10 of each type. So I'm gonna start here first by trying to explain what these stats are for. So if you click on any one of these sigils, you can see there's a whole bunch of stats on here. So the active sigil gives as its main stat damage. So all active sigils give this damage, this increase in damage. And catalyst sigils give an increase in skill strength. Carbide gives an increase in armor. Oxide gives increase in max HP, and calcify gives increase in max armor increase. So if we look at these active sigils, there's also these secondary stats as well, which are random. So for active sigils, there can only be offensive stats here. You can see that each one of these sigils, they only have offensive stats, like skill strength, armor piercing, damage, weakness damage, that stuff. Your catalyst sigils, they have both offensive and defensive, like damage, max armor increase, head armor, so pretty much everything you can find here. The carbide also has offensive and defensive stats, like damage, critical hit, damage resistance, HP recovery, so everything. Oxide only has defensive stats, not offensive. And calcify has only defensive as well. So active has only offensive, catalyst and carbide has offensive and defensive stats, secondary stats, and oxide and calcify has only defensive stats. Okay. So in addition to these stats here, so once you equip any one of these sigils, these stats are applied to your character permanently. As long as it's equipped, it's applied to your character. But when you unequip it, then the stats are removed. So all these stats, all these, the main, secondary, they're only applied when you equip the sigil. When you unequip it, then the stats aren't applied anymore. And you can stack these up. You can stack up a whole bunch of these stats. Up to all 5 categories you can stack up, and see how your rating would increase the more categories of sigils you equip, because all those stats are now active. But I'm gonna unequip everything again. Okay. So in addition to these stats, there's also these sets here. Now, these sets are very important, but actually before I get to the sets, I'll talk a bit about the rating. So you can see that there's some blue sigils, like with the blue background, and there's some with the purple background. I also have one here with a gold background. These are actually sellable. The gold ones are sellable, but the blue ones and the purple ones are not sellable. The gold ones are rare, much more rare to find in Stygian though. Or you can also buy them, or you can also find them doing the missions, the daily missions, or the weekly missions. But the most common ones are the blue ones, the rare ones. The epic purple ones are less common, but they're also good. And gold ones are the best ones. These they can sell at a max price of 30k gold in the trading market, which is some good gold if you want to sell them. I personally, what I consider most important is the stats themselves. So the color to me doesn't really matter as long as the stats are good. I always keep the ones with the best stats. So the gold ones just so happen to have a higher chance to be better, to have better stats, but being gold doesn't necessarily mean that the stats are better. It means that they're more likely to be better. Like for example, this gold one, I kept this gold one, but I sold a lot of gold ones actually. But this gold one I kept because it has a lot of stats, and these stats are, I love these stats. HP recovery every 5 seconds, armor recovery per second. All these are great and very useful for me. So I'm gonna go back to here. So there's 10 different types of sigils you can collect, and here I actually have one of each type of the active sigil. Here I have one of each type. So you can see that there's this, in addition to the stats, you can scroll down to see there's the name of the sigil, which is swift reload, or for example here there's condition reflex, extreme sniper, ability steal, swift reload, spontaneous mutation, metabolic conversion, quantum recovery, mass mania, combat motivation, armor slash. I would recommend to kind of get the hang of these names, because you'll probably be seeing them a lot more often. Notice how, like for condition reflex, for example, there's a two-piece effect, and there's a 4-piece effect. So what this means is that if you have 2 sigils in different categories with conditioned reflex, this 2-piece set will be applied. So I'm gonna try doing that. If I equip this condition reflex, and let's say I go to another category, and I equip this other condition reflex, I'll see that the 2-piece set is now active. This 2-piece set is active now. So I currently have an increased weakness damage by 12%. Generally, you always want to keep a 2-piece active. You always want to keep some set effect active, because that's the whole main point of sigils. To keep this set effect is very important. You can also apply a different 2-piece set. Like for example, I'm gonna try doing swift reload. So I'm gonna equip swift reload, but I'm not gonna unequip condition reflex. I'm gonna keep condition reflex there. I'm gonna equip swift reload, and I'm gonna equip one of these swift reloads here. So I can see that this 2-piece effect of swift reload is now active. In addition to this 2-piece condition reflex, because I didn't unequip this, I kept it equipped. So now I have two 2-piece effects active, and if I press the X, I can see that these set effects are here. You can see this is the summary. So this page here is essentially the summary of all the sigils that you have equipped. It's like here you can see all the stats in total for all your sigils, the rating that it gives. So these stats are effective only outside of Stygian, the restricted area. But what's awesome about the set effects is that you can also use it inside of Stygian. In addition to outside, like the main world, you can also use it inside the game, the game mode, the Stygian Restricted Area game mode, which is pretty useful because you can vary your set effects to have an advantage inside of Stygian Restricted Area. So that's good. You can also, instead of having two 2-piece sets, what you can also do is you can have a 4-piece set. So I'm going to try unequipping Swift Reload, and I'm going to equip the Condition Reflex on this category, on the Carbide, and Swift Reload, Condition Reflex here. So now I have 4 different sigils from different categories of Condition Reflex, and now I can see that the 4-piece effect is active. So see, this 4-piece effect, I love this 4-piece effect. It's great for PvP. And when I press the X, I can see that the 4-piece effect is active. So whenever a 4-piece effect is active, you can't have two 2-piece effects. It really depends on what you want to do, on the spec ops that you do, or on the activity, the event that you participate in. You want to vary these set effects. These set effects are what you want to vary and play around with, because there's a lot of cool effects here. There's a lot of cool different effects. Like, for example, weakness damage. This is good for snipers if you're aiming for the head. Condition Reflex. Spontaneous Mutation has increased healing effect. This is awesome for healers, to boost your healing. Armor Slash, this is great for armor, for tanks. It's very tanky. I use this a lot. Skill Damage, I probably use this one the most often. This increases skill damage, like your throwables and device and stuff, makes it stronger. You also have Swift Reload, which increases main weapon magazine capacity. This is good for like bosses, for example. So you won't have to reload so often. You'll just keep shooting a larger mag, essentially. It's really useful. You also have this increased movement speed. I love this one too. It makes you run faster. I love being able to move fast. Skill Strength, increased skill strength. This is great too for skill strength increase for different skills and stuff. Armor damage reduction. This is essentially, they do less. An enemy does less damage to you on your max armor, so you'll take less damage from your max armor, which is okay. I don't use this one too often though. So here I can see that there's some repeats. Here I have 2 quantum recoveries. So this is what you don't want. You don't want to have repeats, because there's no point in having repeats in the same category, because these are the same thing. So what I would do, what I want to do, is the one with the stats I want to keep. Like, for example, here I have armor. I love armor and head armor compared to this one. So regardless of the color here, I think that the blue stats here the stats on the blue sigil, these are better than the one on the purple. Even though initially the rating would be higher on a purple sigil, these stats on my blue sigil I feel are better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep the blue sigil by upgrading it. And I'm going to find the... So you want to be careful on which one to use to upgrade, because once you press it, you're not able to upgrade it, and the one you choose to use for upgrading is lost. So this one is kept here, this one is kept, and the one you click here is the one that's lost. So here, this is the repeat. You can see it looks exactly the same. I make sure I double check to make sure it looks exactly the same, and it does. This is the one I want to lose to upgrade this one. This one will be upgraded by a bit. So it's currently level 5. If I were to upgrade it using this one, it'll become level 6. So upgrading it allows its main stat to be increased, but every 5 levels. Every 5 levels of the sigil gives a new stat or an increased stat, which is also great. So I'm going to try upgrading this. It requires a bit of silver. So I upgraded it. See how the rating slightly increases, level from 5 to 6, and the main stat is increased. So this is what you want to do for all the repeats here. So back to this one. damage reduction, increased damage reduction, that's what it does. It increases damage reduction. That's also good, but I prefer the armor one. The armor one's better. Unless you have very low armor, then I think damage reduction would be better. So here I have another metabolic conversion. So these are repeats of the same category. So what I want to do is the one with the stats I want to keep. This is the one I want to upgrade. And the one I want to lose is the one I want to pick here. So I look for the one that looks exactly the same as this one. Exactly the same. And I can see that it is this one here. So I press on it. And I upgrade it. This one's the one I'm going to lose. Because it's the repeat. I don't mind you losing it. Upgrade it. See, now I went from level 0 to 1. The rating slightly increased. The main stat also increased. So here now I have all 10 different types of sigils in the same category. This is what I want. I want to keep all 10 different sigils of one category. This one, cooldown reduction, is also great. The combat motivation, I like this one too. For if I want to keep constantly throwing throwables or using devices, this one's really good to use. So I'm gonna check if I have any more repeats to use. Yeah, here, so I have some repeats that I see here. This one and this one. So the stats on here are better than this one, I feel. The stats on here are better. So I'm gonna upgrade this one, and I'm gonna choose the one I'm gonna lose to upgrade the one I want to keep, which is this one. It looks exactly the same. So I'm gonna upgrade this one here. There we go. So the level increased from 2 to 3, and the main stat also increased. I also have another repeat here with condition reflex. Here this is the same, but these stats are better. Actually, this stat is actually a bit better, but I'm gonna choose this one anyway, because see how it's level 4? If I upgrade it to level 5, then I get a new stat, which is what I'm going to try doing right now. So I'm going to upgrade this one. I'm going to look for the identical one that I want to lose to upgrade this one. So see how when I increase it to level 5, I randomly boost one secondary stat, meaning that I gain a secondary stat, or I increase the effects of one secondary stat, but if I only have 2 stats, then it's going to give me another stat. So I'm going to upgrade it. So see how I got this new secondary stat here because I upgraded it to level 5. So and the rating also increases as well. So now I have 3 stats on this one, which is awesome. I have 3 stats. And I can see I have an extra calcify. I have an extra mass mania. So I'll choose the one that I want to lose. And the one I want to keep, so I'm gonna keep this one, the armor. I like the armor one. Upgrade, and I go to this one, the identical one. Upgrade that, so the one that I chose is lost. And this one is upgraded, like that. So see. So one more thing before I end the video, you can also lock these, so the sigils. So in case you might actually choose it to be lost, you can actually lock it to prevent it from being lost. So like for example, like let's say I want to lock this one. Let's say I lock this one and I upgrade this one. If I attempt to upgrade one that's locked, it gives me a message saying that I can't choose this one to lose because it's locked. So locking them is good for sigils you want to keep, like the ones with a high level or really good stats, or like gold ones, for example, the gold ones with good stats. These are the ones you want to lock in case you ever might make a mistake. It'll prevent you from making a mistake when upgrading. Okay, well, I guess this is all there is to explain. My favorite ones that I choose, I always choose the weakness damage, and I always choose, I like to use this one a lot, the skill damage increase. But honestly, it really depends on what you do. The sets can vary depending on what spec ops, what event you do. It can vary a lot. You always want to arrange them however you want, depending on what you do. Whether you heal or do DPS, damage, explosives, or artillerists. It really depends. You want to switch them around often. But make sure you keep 10 of each type in each category. That's your goal. To keep 10 of each type in each category. Like what I have here. I have 10 of each type in each category. So I'm gonna switch back to the ones that I want to use. Like movement speed. I love the movement speed. And the armor one. So notice how there's always one left over. So see how I equipped 4 of them, and it still gave me the 2-piece set, the two-piece sets. There's always one left over, so this one you can just pick any of them, the one with your favorite stats, like that, for example. And there, I review all my stats. I review my stat effects to make sure everything's great. Movement speed, extreme sniper, armor slash. There, I'm good to go with my Sigils. So I hope I was able to help out in this video. I hope you found it helpful, and happy hunting those Sigils. If you want me to make any more videos, any video suggestions, let me know, and I'll gladly make a video. I love making these videos. Okay, well, I'll catch all of you later. See ya, and good luck.